Hey, it's Benji Cole, son of Al Cole from CBS Radio and host of the syndicated talk show, People of Distinction. A talk that gives you an in-depth view of some of the most dynamic, intelligent, and successful people on the planet. Run to our website, alcoleenterprises.com for more info. Email me through benji@alcoleenterprises.com if you'd like to get involved with what we have going. And as always, please continue to like and follow our broadcasts. People of Distinction is internationally syndicated solely due to the love and support that you all continue to give. We're available across all major distributors, and as long as you keep following, we're going to continue to put out the content. Now sit back and strap in, because on the line with us today, we have the impressive Walter Lawrence. And we're going to be discussing his incredible book, Life of Abuse to Success, a child's story. It's Amazon, it's Barnes & Noble, it's a lot of other places. Type it into a search bar and be greeted with them all. And before I go any further, I want to quickly point out the fact that Walter was brought to us by Kravitz & Sons. So for writers out there listening in who have gone through their process and now you find yourself between a rock and a hard place, right? You find yourself in a peculiar position because now you need assistance moving the book you just worked so tirelessly to create. Well, if that's you, head on over to kravitsandsons.com and gather all the ways that their team is more than equipped to help you do just that. Listen, it is an absolute pleasure to have Walter here on the line. People, right there in the title, yeah, man, we're not pulling any punches, okay? We're not beating around the bush. You understand the discussion at hand today. And listen, when we talk about abuse, it's something, unfortunately, every single one of us has an experience with. Now, who may be the perpetrator of that abuse will vary. The extent of the abuse will also vary. But it's something we can all relate to. And it's something that Walter, man, he was chosen as his family's emotional punching bag, right? The child designated to absorb rage that he didn't cause. But instead of breaking, he did something completely different, right? He turned that into a life of genuine success. This is the story of how a boy who was taught that he was worthless discovered a truth that his abusers never could. Sit back, strap in, have your notebooks ready, man. There's going to be some gems you're going to be able to find here. And I promise you, when you read in between the lines, even if you can't relate to a lot of the specific things that he talks about, you're going to be able to find some benefit in his words. Walter, first and foremost, welcome to the network, and thank you very much for being a guest. How are you doing today, sir?
I'm fine. Thank you very much.
Walter, listen, it's a pleasure to have you here, man. I think what you've done by comprising this book is remarkable. I think it's going to be beneficial to each and every one of your readers that pick it up. And we'll cover inspiration in just a few moments as to why this book even came to fruition. But first and foremost, let's start off at that ground level, man. Tell us more about yourself and your background.
My background was I lived in Monticello, New York. I was a deputy court officer and a correction officer. And then we moved down to Florida here, and now I'm a crossing guard for Citrus County with kids and buses at school.
Well, listen, let's move into it. How did you begin as an author? I mean, your background is not in creative writing, so connect the dots for us.
Well, it was to let people know about, try to avoid others getting abused the way I had.
Mm-hmm.
That's about what I could say. There are other things, few more questions towards the end that are involved in what I just said.
Well, listen, you've now started to go into my next question. So really, what inspired this book? I think that starts to uncover the reasoning, but let's explore that further. What inspired this particular book?
Well, when COVID came out in 2020, they closed the schools down here, and I'm sitting around the house, and I got interested in bringing this to light. The sadness, living with no parental love and all that stuff going.
When it comes to authors that have written memoirs, there is a lot of wisdom to be gained. It's bestowed upon us, and that's great. We don't have to go through the experience ourselves. But I also understand that from a writing perspective, there's almost a reliving, a rehashing of this, and in this instance, of the abuse that you experienced. Talk to us about that, really, man, for good, bad, or anything in between. What was that writing experience like for you?
It was a sadness with the no parental love and stuff like that. And funny enough, as you get older, listen, I can't remember what I had for breakfast, but I can remember what happened 60 years.
Yeah.
And it's all about relationships. If you meet somebody and before you get serious, you have to know the mental and the physical situation with that person, man or woman, doesn't matter. Because if there's any issues, you're going to pass that on to your kids.
Walter, thank you very much for sharing. A lot of people are going to be able to relate to that sentiment. Let's talk about your title now. I'm curious to know, walk us through that process. Why did you choose this title to be the representation for your book?
Well, I tried to make the title as simple as possible to make it stand out about a child being raised and all that stuff. And that's the best I could come up with, because I am successful. I never did drugs. I never did none of that stuff. And as a matter of fact, in Citrus County here, I've been doing 7 years on this job, and I'm the only crossing guard that's never, ever taken time off. Even the sheriff gave me a medal. And my attended audience is anyone from adult age of 18 to today, you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And I've spoken to a lot of people. I can't give you a number, but 90% of them thank me for giving them the advice about knowing relationships before you get serious and passing it on to your kids. But I found out that 10% of them obtained an attitude towards me, and that raised a red flag telling me that they have that issue.
People, I'm telling you, listen, you got to purchase your copies to uncover it all. Again, it's Amazon, it's Barnes & Noble, it's a lot of other places. Life of Abuse to Success, a child's story by Walter Lawrence. It's the book you got to add to your shelf, man, and I promise you, you're going to want to do just that. The education that you're going to be able to receive is going to be so beneficial. So you know where to go. Head on over there, purchase your copies today. Walter, my follow-up now that I want to...
Whoever reads the book will also pass it on to other people themselves. I try to help people. I don't try to hurt people. Never.
Listen, I can recognize that. Walter, I think, as I mentioned, when the opportunity presented itself to have you as a guest on our network, we started to do some research on your book, and we knew right off the bat how beneficial this book could be. And we knew that people out there listening in, whether they're vocal about the abuse that they've experienced or not, there's wisdom to be found here, and they're going to use your words as a guiding light. So it truly is.
Well, my mother died 12 years ago. We went to visit her up in a nursing home, and I never brought up anything of the past. She was 92 years old. I never brought it up. And while we're having discussions about what she's been doing and whatever else, she turned around and said to me, she says, "Boy, it's nice that you turned out so well." And I looked at my wife, and my wife's eyes just rolled back and forth that she would say something like that.
Wow.
And we're talking about 5 years earlier, with the abuse. And it seems like I still was a bad person, which I wasn't,
Yeah. Listen, Walter, I appreciate you being so transparent with this, man. And that's what I'm saying. That's going to formulate a bridge. Let's now go into what you perceive and what your intent behind this. You started to go into that a little bit earlier, but talk to us. What are some of the messages or the themes found within the book that you hope your readers take?
Well, family is family. And you have to, if there's a father involved, they have to do the child stuff, I get them a small golf club, play ball with them, do that other stuff, which I never had. And, boys are boys and girls are girls. And they have to be part of the raising of the children, which I never had either,
Yeah.
One of the managers of the 7-Eleven, she has a daughter that's going to be very tall. And I told her, I says, she's just turning 10. And I told her, I says, you know what, it's a good idea for her because of her height. I'll take her to one of the golf courses, public courses, and get her golf lessons. She's thinking about it,
Mm-hmm.
So that's what I do with it as far as kids go.
Walter, who would you say inspired you to write? So we talked about how this journey began, but was there a particular person who inspired you to write?
Well, it wasn't any particular person. It was, I had all that time off when the school shut down, and I always thought back about my past and everything else. And that's what inspired me to do what I did. No one else convinced me or asked me or whatever else. There's a lot of people, just about everybody, didn't know about my past situation. I've also had people that came up to me, like if I went to Circle K or 7-Eleven, they would come up to me where they see me, they recognize me because of my photo in the book as a crossing guard. They would come up to me and said, I bought your book. Thank you, thank you, thank you. It's really made my life differently because of it.
Walter, my final question here for you as we close out, and thank you again for all of the wonderful information that you've provided today. Is there anything else that you would like to let us know? Is there anything else that you would like to leave our listening audience with before we close out?
Yeah, happiness is better than sadness.
Yeah.
Come on. Why do you want to create an issue when it's not necessary?
Mm-hmm.
You know? No, that's it.
Short, sweet, simple, and to the point, man. People, I'm going to say it again. You got to head on over to Amazon, Barnes & Noble. Purchase your copies of Life of Abuse to Success, A Child's Story by Walter Lawrence. This is one that you need to add to your shelf because I promise you, it's much more than just a journey alongside Walter's path. You're going to learn specifically from his experience, but more importantly, when you read in between the lines, there is wisdom to be gained. There is so much education that you're going to be able to receive, and hopefully because of that, you can avoid some of the pitfalls and you have some red flags that you are more aware of in your own life, whether it's with your family, your significant other, your friends, it doesn't matter. Abuse is abuse, and we've all experienced it. So read this book, learn from it, get it as a gift for someone else to learn as well, because I promise you, it is that impactful. But you know where to go, and it starts with purchasing your copies. Head on over there today. Walter, this has been an absolute pleasure, man. Keep up the fantastic work, and once again, thank you for being a guest on People of Distinction.
It's been a pleasure speaking to you. I enjoyed it.